you have to pick up the, hit the button there. Okay, great. So I do that. He picks up the button, and then as he's FaceTiming me, he literally picks up his telephone. And he's like, "Hi, June." So he's FaceTiming me, talking into the computer while he's on the phone with me. Why do I hear a dial tone? I said, "Dad, because I'm not on the phone."
Oh my God, Greg, we're talking about old people Zoom FaceTime stories. It's so good.
It's hilarious, right?
Hey, the best is when they start doing the ones where people are taking their computers with them into the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
come on, people.
Like,
yeah, come on.
One of those COVID videos that was just hilarious.
No one needs to see that.
Big Zoom call with people, and this lady goes into the bathroom and sits down, and it's like, goes to the bathroom. It's like, no.
Nightmare. Oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah. So
hilarious.
He called us one day, like similar to Tony. He called on the phone and was trying to show us the iPad because he had a question. We're like, you got to FaceTime so we can do it.
No, I give everyone credit, and I give the older folks credit for trying. I think it's great. I think they're, this is like so out of their realm of what they know.
Yeah.
I give them credit. I think it's great.
It is.
I think it's great.
It could be a whole Sebastian Maniscalco comedy segment, though.
Yeah,
100%.
Sure. No
100%.
doubt. Hey guys, before we get started, I may go in and out of mute because I'm solo. My other half is at the doctor's, and I've got the baby solo, so she may cry at any moment.
We understand.
So apologies if that happens, but she's in a good mode right now, so I probably get about 7.5 minutes.
All right, so we're going to be, all right, with that being said, let's buckle down. So wanted to get this gang together because I do think it's important, and Greg has said there's so much good information that I think it's helpful for us to I started downloading everything and putting it into a file, and even emails that you've sent me, Greg, that you kind of like copied and pasted, like, here's what I've been sending and answering this question. I think a pretty good shell of what the one-pagers that we need. So I had put in the invite, I kind of copied and pasted a list that Greg had provided earlier of who he thinks that we need to put one-pagers together for. I'm in agreement with that list. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on it.
Total agreement.
Okay, great. So just quickly to run through it.
Yep.
It's over 18 athletes, so college, adult, and masters, youth athletes and their parents who are supporting the youth, coaches and admins of teams, athletic and class trainers, rec center managers and intramural facility managers and ADs in bigger schools and colleges, and then ADs running schools and university class programs. And then we can kind of start with those. Yep. So the good thing with that list is a lot of them are going to be pretty similar, and then we could just tweak certain languages, I think accordingly. I think some of the things that it would be helpful for this group, and then quite frankly, if each one of us just wants to take a category and maybe do it that way, we can just break it out. Or we can talk about how we want to workflow. Deb, I think you're going to be exceptional at polishing. So like, even if like I were to take a stab at it, maybe send it to you, I feel like you might maybe, and maybe that's how the workflow will go. Like maybe even Tony and I will divide up the list, and I'll take half and Tony will take half, and like, we'll take a stab and send it to you, and you can kind of just like, make them look universal. I think that we just need to, the one thing I think would be helpful to just to kind of chat with as a group is kind of what we're trying to accomplish with them. And what kind of tone we want to use. Right. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. So some quick thoughts on, my experience in the working world is people don't read anything that's more than a page.
100%.
So like, I'm not into these 20-point PowerPoint decks unless we're required to, because I really don't think people read them.
No, I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
Same here. I think, there's four basic things I think that are covered in those. I'm probably preaching to the choir, but just to kind of get everybody on the same page. So I'm thinking the same thing. What's the offering? Really concise. How are we going about it? How is Greg going about this? What is the offering, and how are we executing on that?
Okay, so you got to stop that. You got to stop that right now. This is no longer Greg.
Oh, okay.
This is our team. I'm the water boy.
That's
all
a
I'm doing.
visionary.
I'm gonna like send you that movie and require you to watch it this week.
Yeah,
That movie is
exactly.
so good.
Being humble. How are we different? And then lastly, what is in it for them? And that's a piece I think that was, as I looked through all the docs, that's a piece I thought was kind of not missing, but could be emphasized, is that whoever we're speaking to in those groups that Kelly mentioned, that what is in it for them? And that's the piece I think we can add some flavor around. That's just my opinion.
I like that flow because I think, quite frankly, that's how people read documents about new companies is you need a little bit of an intro, like you need to frame it. They need to know what they're reading.
Yep.
I think that I like your flow from the first point to the second point to the third point. The fourth point wraps it up for them.
Yep.
So I think I am going to use your name, Greg. Sorry. I will start calling you Waterboy, but I think to Greg's point, part of the reason, and it's a little bit of a chicken and egg with these one-pagers, is part of us doing our market research and asking for those pain points is that we can somewhat tease it in that what we can do for you paragraph. But I think we want to showcase some of the things we can do, but also leave it a little open-ended so that if it doesn't speak exactly to what we're talking about, they're still interested enough to accept the meeting. So I think we're using these as kind of, hey, I'm emailing my contact. I'm asking for time to meet with them. Here's a little bit of what we're doing, which is the one pager that I know all these guys are going to require. And it's enough of a tease that it hooks them to get that meeting. Like, we just need to get the meeting. And I think that's what these are meant to do, is they're meant to get the meetings. Is everyone on the same page as that, or am I making that up?
Yes.
100%. Okay. But Tony, I like how you thought that through, and I think that's really helpful.
Right, and there's probably consistent threads throughout that would apply to all the audiences within quick, parenthetic or paragraph cut and paste of what's nuanced for each audience, right? And you just kind of plug those in, and I think it
definitely is. And I think that what the water boy has already sent us has been. We have like, I'm not into making more work for anybody. I feel like there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
I think that we have a lot of information and tools and, PowerPoint decks, and I think the hype presentation will be really helpful, that I'm happy to go in and kind of copy and paste. And I think that, quite frankly, the questions to 1, 2, and 3, so the first 3 questions are, what are we offering? How are we executing? And how are we different? Those 3 should be the same. There might be like a sentence different, but the what's in it for them is, I think, where we need to highly customize for the different groups. Does that make sense to you guys? So then I'm thinking, from a breakout of workflow to get this kind of project moving, why don't we do it this way so that we're not writing in 2 totally different tones? Because I just think, I'm just thinking about this. If I start writing half and Tony starts writing half, I write like a girl, you write like a dude, it's gonna happen. So why don't we do this? Why don't I take what's the offering, how are we executing, and how are we different? And then why don't you take that last what's in it for them and try and customize it per group? Does that make sense?
Sure.
And then I would say you and I can team up on, if you have any questions, like, hey, I'm not understanding this group, what do you think? We can kind of team up on that. And then why don't we, when we're done with them, send them to Deb. Deb can kind of polish them and make them sound professional, and then we can regroup. Does that make sense for everybody?
If we work in Google Docs and just share, we're all working on this.
That sounds great. I'll certainly set. So why don't I take the iterary stab at it? So I'll start the Google Doc and I'll make sure that we can all see it.
Right.
I'll answer those top 3 questions. Tony will then, at the same time or simultaneously or afterwards, can go in and start to write the, how are we, what's in it for them. Any of the ones that I might know, so like the pro sports, I have a little bit of insight to, so maybe I'll take a stab at that one, but any of the other ones.
Yep.
And then Deb, simultaneously, like, you can kind of go in and edit, and then that way I think we're all kind of getting this done in real time.
Yeah. I like working on one doc together, so if we
I love that.
Okay,
Quick question, Greg. On those docs that we have, are they? I saw them. I think they were PDFs. Are they Word doc format as
Yeah,
well?
of course. That's how I write. I write in Word. So I can send you the words and
that way we quickly extract and cut and paste and
Yep.
stuff too.
Yeah, I just think Waterboy's done so much work that we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Like, you've written so much.
Exactly.
And I like your tone because I think it keeps in the tone of what we're trying to get done here. And so I think that if we start shifting tone a little bit, I don't want to get off track. So the copy and paste, I think, is the right way. And I'm going to comb through. I started, quite frankly, I think, Greg, going back to March, started keeping these documents all in a spot. And I want to reread them because I think that they're written a little bit differently in some different places. And I just want to pull it, make it the most concise. Deb, I'll start that Google Doc and we can all edit.
Awesome.
All right, great. I am probably trying to get the first version up by tomorrow afternoon at the latest. I have a little bit of running back and around today. So I'm going to take a stab at it, but I would say if you give me 24 hours, tomorrow by noon, I should have like a pretty good grasp at it. But again, obviously, like, feel free. I'll start the document now and we can all kind of dump into it. Even if you want to just keep a notes section or something at the bottom of it, that's your like personal notes, that would be fine. And then I'll just start the actual, like, I'll start each page and we'll kind of go from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Is there anything I'm missing?
Not that
No, I think it will evolve and
Totally.
start. So, but it'll be a great start for all of us to have something to work on. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing I want to make sure that we highlight is, as we keep winning these awards, these are like, they're a big deal. And I think we have to make sure we're highlighting these.
Yeah.
So even if it's just at the footnote, because again, obviously we make it bold, but like, people are reading that one page and that what's in it for them is kind of the last paragraph. Like, to see that we've won those awards right at the bottom, I think is really helpful.
Yeah, we can weave it in too.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good call. So, all right, awesome. I think we just kicked some ass. Hello. We have a new guest. Wait, you're on mute.
Hi, Zuri. This is Zuri. She's gonna go to work. Hi, Kitty. This is Zuri.
All right, we're breaking her in early.
Yes, do me one favor, Kelly. Can you tell me just because she was having a meltdown, just throw a quick one sentence email about what you want me to do.
So I'm gonna don't worry. I'm gonna send us an email with a recap of the meeting. And then I'll kind of start the Google Doc, and on that recap of the meeting, I will put a link to it so that we all have it. So I'll write this all up so that we're all on the same page. Meltdowns are allowed, girlfriend.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. No. Hi, Z.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
All right, guys. You guys.
Very much, Kelly. Thanks for taking charge of this thing.
I'm happy.
Thank you, Kelly.
No, I love it.
And I'll send the docs out immediately so you can start playing with them.
Hey, Greg, I'm gonna send you something in 2 seconds. If you're on the chat, I can, if you don't mind a little interruption. If you have time, we can chat about it now or later on today.
Yeah, they just told me that Hype has something going on right now, an esports webinar I'm supposed to be on. So
I'll say absorb it.
And running, man, I gotta tell you.
Rich, give me a shot whenever you can then.
Okay, this is like a sprint. These guys are slamming us with stuff. We just got a Zoom call with a guy who is running esports for Viacom CBS.
Cool.
Awesome.
Big power guy, man. It's incredible. Cool. And yesterday was Uli Becker from Adidas.
Nice.
Amazing. So anyway, it's a crazy time on the Hype side, let me tell you.
Let me know who the person was at Viacom, because I got somebody that's probably who they report to. Is a good friend of ours from Rhode Island. You know Sean Moran?
Well, he's over in Europe. He's David. I'll find his last name. Ulig or something.
Okay. Yeah, do a LinkedIn. Check out the name Sean Moran. See if he would be helpful to you.
Yeah, I will, definitely.
All right, man.
All right, team. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Greg, good luck on that. And I'm talking to you at noon. If you need to reschedule, just shoot me a note.
I will.
All right. Take care.
Kelly.
Nice.
Yeah.
At some other time, we have to have a big hockey conversation, because I think we have a lot of the same mutual friends, but I was involved in hockey for a long time, so we'll have to have that on a separate call sometime, you and I.
I can't wait. That sounds like fun.
Women's hockey too.
Oh, nice.
So we'll chat for sure.
Oh, that'll be fun. All right, guys. Well, take care, and I'll look for that email. It'll be out in about 20 minutes.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.